Thank you all for patiently waiting and hanging out. We are going to deliver you what is the second set that's going in live right now. We're still waiting for this game to finish before we move on to our final round, final few rounds of the day. We're gonna cut to this. This is the second map, mid-round ALG versus Vikings. It's got Wookie and Trip and Anonymous as casters. We're gonna cut to them for the remainder of this game, and then we will be right back here on OML 1. So do not go anywhere. We'll be right back. Well, stay here. Here comes the action.
Does seem to be exactly what Nolak is gonna do. North does seem locked down, so yeah. Nolak can just watch that center.
Here it goes. There goes Soda.
Oh, Nolak missing all of his shots. I don't even think he wounded him.
Yeah, but now he's backing off, and the rest of the team now has no idea. You know, there's someone behind them somewhere. Are they just going to leave him and try and push faster, or are they going to sit and wait and look backwards?
Well, I'm nervous because Vikings have 4 on objective, and then you have Nolak way out there by the tank, and only 2 minutes left on the clock, but I see Seaquick is now hunting for Nolak, which is interesting. Nutjob takes out John over on the west side of the map. Nolak needs to fall back. He needs to get back to objective, and he's kind of stuck because he's in between an entire team of Marsoc players right now. Finally finds the kill on Captain Soda, but Seaquick is looking for that refrag. Seaquick has spent a lot of time investing in this kill against Nolak.
Nolak goes down, walks right into Quick. Two for one. Vikings lone defender doing his job.
I might have killed him.
Oh, Ipino with that clutch position, man. He has been doing that all day today with that prone. Right there on the floor. He's been catching a lot of people there.
Virus sees Shadow rotate, takes some shots and misses. Rotating away, going upstairs. I'm just not seeing a good approach at this point for Aimless. Vikings seem to have this one locked down, and I think the go big strategy with Nolak paid off. 30 seconds left. The beep's gonna go right now.
Beep beep.
Right now they've got 4 members still standing. They don't really have any. They have to go in. They have to get some kills. All the utilities coming out now. Ipino knows that Seaquick's right there. Shoots him in the head. Virus takes down Ipino. Virus comes in running 13 seconds. Virus comes around the corner. Shadow shoots him in the back.
Wow. That's what Vikings needed. They're still in this. They're just hanging on for dear life here. That grenade there at the end almost played a role, I want to say. Let's take a quick look at that replay.
I don't know. Pulling that pin that close to the objective. It just...
Oh.
That's like that's a sign on your back saying shoot me.
Yeah, it really is. And that played the wrong replay. Apologies, guys. So you don't get to see what we're talking about, but hopefully you did witness it for yourself. That was a good refrag too. Yeah, I mean, Vikings just holding on to this. They're not going down without a fight. Exactly. This is the Vikings I was expecting to see here on Bazaar, especially after Silent Purge already played. They had that warm up right against Silent Purge. Now I was just hoping they'd be a little bit more warmed up here for this one.
They're staying alive, but now they've got to attack that objective.
And they can very well cap out from underneath Aimless's nose. Is a very, very capable position. Play your cards right on your approaches.
That's true. That would be a pretty impressive comeback.
I mean, that's what Vikings need right now to stay in this. They need to at least win one map, I want to say.
But, you know, I don't want to say that Aimless is better than Vikings, but if Aimless wasn't able to if Vikings was able to defend that objective against Aimless, there's a safe bet saying Aimless is going to be able to defend it against Vikings.
Yeah. What are your thoughts? I'm not a mouse. Wow, sorry. I need some water.
Well, I think Aimless should hopefully be able to defend this. It looks like they've started to kind of fall apart a little bit after they went up 3-0, which is not what they need right now. They need to get their heads back in the game and defend this objective.
Right. Are they going to choke here, or are they going to bring it home? That's the real question that I will see, I guess. All depends on how Vikings approach this. Just diving in now to round 6.
But not knocked out. If you run fast into Echo, you can hear
Yep,
him.
Vikings spawning in the tank, at the tank, going right up the middle. Shadow, Ipno, and Nalik.
Oh,
Sounds like they have a decent plan. They were talking at the beginning of the round, and they were telling people where exactly to go and what to listen for. So it seems like they have an approach plan, and the defense here is very standard from Aimless. See, check out Noctum here in the south, putting rounds downrange into the mini market. Not at anybody, I don't think. I don't think he can see Soda. He's just shooting to shoot. Clearing those pallets and whatnot. Shots from Nalik, trying to just make noise, clear angles. Draw that distraction to let the rest of his team move up. ALG side being very quiet. I haven't heard a whole lot of communication yet.
Enemy in blue room.
Nalik does hear, or sorry, he saw Seaquick in the blue room just that split second that he was there. There was a grenade where a defender normally would be, but I don't think that grenade would find them. Ooh, Seaquick. Kind of getting pinched here by Vikings. Oh, but John finds the back of Nalik. How did he... Oh, I missed that. Shadow Warrior is just across the street from the objective right now. He's actually the closest member of Vikings to objective and somehow was able to sneak by John. This is a really awkward position. Ipno is slowly coming around the corner. Oh man, nut job right above him. Is Ipno not going to check his... Man, Ipno's not going to check his corner.
Oh. That spot always gets you.
John gets Ipno. Nutjob is right above John's CZ. John is not watching out. Oh, and they trade. Oh no.
Shadow Warrior at the same time picks up Quick.
Goes with the res on a nut job. Knock him in the south. ALG adjusting their defense like they should. 3-on-3. Knocked him still at red truck. Soda waiting for that south approach. Sees nut job cross north. Now
South approach is their best bet for Vikings, I think, right now because it's pretty wide open. Oh, Soda finds nut job. Oh man, this is not looking good. Grenade comes out. Almost finds Soda.
Noctum uses that fire for cover, crosses the street. He's in blue room now.
Less than 90 seconds on the clock here. If Shadow can cause enough ruckus for Noctum to slip in, and Noctum can take out Soda, I think this is a cap for Vikings.
One is
I don't-
somewhere by minimarket.
I don't think so. I don't see. Shadow would have to run in and distract, but then Noctum would have to go around the other way through mini market, and I don't know if there's enough time to do both. 56 seconds. Soda goes down.
That opens up an opportunity now for Noctum to get in there and cap. Virus
calls
crashing
come
in on
out.
objective.
Push,
40
push,
seconds.
push coming from Shadow. Nardu finds Noctum.
Last one behind.
Nardu gets the call out onto Shadow's position.
This is the last
Shadow-
30 seconds here.
Shadow has to go in there to get this kill to clear this building, and he's exposed when he does it. Nardu with a nice rotation around the backside finds him.
Oh,
Aimless take their 4th point and 2 maps, putting them up 4-0 in the standings.
I believe so. Yeah, they won both maps against beginners. They won both against Vikings. They're currently undefeated right now on the whole scoreboard thing that everyone's looking at. The standings. So yeah, my god. ALG
figure
are
this-
playing so well today.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna be. They just have one more round. Well, 2 more maps after this, and then top 2 go to the semifinals, I think. Right?
That is correct. Top 2.
Yes. So.
Welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much for patiently awaiting this next series. We've dipped in and out of some other games, tuned into the Vikings matchup, resulting in an ALGW and ultimately ALG locking themselves in for one of those two positions. I think they're going to be essentially securing that top spot, but they still have a series to play against the likes of Vikings, and I'm curious to see how. Against. They still have this series against Silent Purge that we're tuning into. Vikings is going up against Beginners, getting my teams mixed up. But I want to see what Silent Purge can do here. I want to see if they can kind of rally back, because it's still not over. You know, just because Silent Purge has lost a few games and Beginners have won a couple, you know, Vikings can beat Beginners, you know, and if Vikings put out a couple of defeats to Beginners, this whole second place thing is still so close. So Silent Purge need to come in here, need to stay focused. They need to try and take some W's against ALG, who, for all intents and purposes, has been playing very good today.
Exactly. ALG is locked in right now. We know we're going to see them in the semis, and then it's just a matter of what happens on this last round.
Yeah.
And it's up in the air. I mean, I think there's a strong likelihood that Beginners will take it, but any given Sunday, so to speak, in Onward means that things can happen that surprise us. I mean, we didn't expect ALG to take the top seed. I think a lot of people were saying ALG had a good shot at the second seed, but everybody was saying Beginners are going to be number one. So already our expectations have been violated, and I don't think there's any reason to believe that that can't happen again.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we can kind of get an idea of where things are going to shake up, at least for this series in front of us, by taking a gander at the picks, bans, and Sleepy and the analyst desk. What do we got coming out of the bans today?
Yeah, so from the side of Aimless Gaming, we have a ban on to Downfall, and from the side of Silent Purge, we'll be seeing a ban of Subway. So Downfall, you know, I'm not too disappointed with the ban on Downfall. You know, those matches tend to drag out for a while. We tend to see really slow play. It takes a while for things to go on, and then oftentimes, more often than not, too many things go on at one time for us to be able to accurately capture. And, you know, you lose a real picture of what goes on in the round because of it. You end up tracing routes that lead up to nothing but suspense and expectation, and then eventually things break into chaos, and one person comes out on top, and at the end of it, you really don't know who's done what until the dust settles. So I like when we keep things at a more tactical level here, and so I'm glad to see Quarantine here coming in for our first map. It's a good balance map. Yes, it does have the long range, and yes, you can play it quite slowly. I mean, we did just watch Beginners and Silent Purge play on this map just a few minutes ago, and it wasn't a quick one by any means, no, but it can be. It definitely has that potential to be that quick map and that aggressive map with the pressure, but I haven't really seen many of these teams playing that way yet today. There's not been a lot of overly, you know, obvious aggression coming out from anyone. And I think it's because of those postseason worries, like, you know, you lose here and it's over.
Yeah, completely agree. We'll see what Silent Purge can do against ALG. Like you said, they went up against Beginners and they did not have a good time. They got close on a couple of rounds and they managed to put up a few points, but ultimately they did lose the map, and now this is, interestingly enough, Silent Purge's pick. They picked it against Beginners as well, lost it there. And so we'll see if ALG are going to take this. They're kicking it off on defense on Quarantine. Map number 1 of the final series of Group B. Going to determine who our top 2 are. They're going to go to those semis.
Hey, you're a monster.
Yeah, ALG, I mean, they have their seed confirmed now. Not surprised to see them being a bit more aggressive on defense. Nardu and Captain Soda already on the east side of the roof. I mean, they can experiment a little bit here and do what they might not have done in the earlier rounds now that they know they have a spot in the semis. Maybe just have a little more fun, so to speak, in this. And I think we are going to see some of that right now.
Definitely still seeing that reserve Silent Purge style of play here. Even on offense, even on this west spawn, they are being very careful pushing up here. They recognize the danger that they could be putting themselves in, but I don't think they expect this far forward of a defense. There is nobody holding back on objective, and honestly, with this OBJ, I kind of like it. I feel like it might be better to push forward here in front of the objective instead of letting them crash to it. It's worked off so far. 2 kills coming out here. Here comes the third. Can Sri Lankan deny it? No, he can't. Shots aren't landing onto Fume. Fume's looking for a piece through the hole in the wall, but he can't get it himself, and it's an exchange back and forth on this north side. Down he goes unexpectedly to Soda, and Purge are getting purged themselves down to 2.
They got the cutoff.
I mean, like you said, nobody is on objective. It's 5 pushed forward. And it's kind of a weird psychological game because they can play kind of relaxed and aggressive. They can force this offensive squad to play defensively. I mean, they are trapped in the West now. They have to be careful, try to get picks, whereas they can just afford to play a lot more aggressively and get in their face. Fume's about to pick up Flossie. There it is, and it's... Jeez, we just passed the 3-minute mark, and it's already down to a 5v1. And it looks like ALG is just going to go hunting now. They are not concerned about protecting the objective.
Oh my god.
I mean, all 5 up, no trade, so they have to have an accurate kill count now.
Yeah.
They're just going to hem this guy in. He took some shots earlier, too, so they know he's in the West.
They really are surrounding him here. Here comes the swing in through the tunnel. Fume scoops up Don Patron, the final defender. ALG looking to make quick work of this series, kicking off round 1 with a W.
Yeah, pretty effective defense there, and I think I might agree with you. NightFiree, I'm line defense on this particular objective, as it has been shuffled back. It's a little bit more protected in some ways, but not in others. You know, there's the building there. You can actually cap from inside there. You have the protection of the tank from certain angles if you were to try and cap from outside. But if you can get your defensive line out, especially out in front of that tunnel entrance there by the plane engine in the tank courtyard, you have a really good chance of stopping almost any opportunity that the offense has of exiting either spawns, north or south, though I would say that the south would be much harder to control if they got that particular spawn, since that one requires a lot less movement across the map to make it to the south warehouses, south hospital, where they can also take up elevated positions and fire back on you. So, I mean, it was a great play there from ALG, from Aimless Gaming, and I wonder if, you know, that same aggression might not have ended some of these rounds that they played earlier a bit faster, because, you know, as we saw, it was quite effective for them to get in the faces of this Silent Purge team and just kind of pressure them and push them back into the corner and make them feel boxed in.
I think the thing I liked most is that getting up onto into the ambulance corner and pushing into this 2-story. It is incredibly aggressive. You have to cross that street to get there, but if you can hold a position here, you've got some great angles down onto that defensive, onto anyone trying to cross out to get to that objective. Of course, I think also really interesting to note that defense, you can only go there if you have a strong north. If you're guaranteed that your coverage is solid in the north, because if you don't, then the flank can happen. They can rotate around the north side and come in through the back of the building and cap inside. Here we are seeing a bit of aggression from Silent Purge, but only out of a couple of them. Rushers is pushing up forward into this courtyard. John's going to be popping out up onto that roof, and we'll see if Rushers is ready for him.
Looks like Silent Purge is not returning the favor. They've got rushers up in tank courtyard, but other than that, they are playing back. And ALG is not wasting any time. And rushers has been ID'd now. He's going to get hemmed into this tank courtyard if he's not careful. He's getting surrounded on both sides.
What's interesting to note is a push coming in from Sri Lankan on the north. He's trying to trap those up on the roof. He's snagged one. Fume's looking for the refrag, gets it in a trade. Meanwhile, back up in the courtyard, Rusher's still, getting team killed. Hoochie pops up and decides he wants a piece of the action.
Wow, that was critical. Having that person pushed up in front was a great backstop on their more passive defense, but now that he's gone, they just have this line of people near the objective, and ALG can continue with a bit of an encirclement. And I would assume Captain Soda has some sense of where Hoochie is because those shots were fired. It looks like he's watching that's North Road. He does not have an angle on Hoochie yet. Meanwhile, John making his way to the south side of the hospital roof.
Roof down.
Oof.
Nice shot. Looks like Seaquick is going to run back to the north roof and potentially get this revive. They still have 2 minutes 45 seconds, so that's not completely out of the question. There is enough time for a rotation. That's a tough place to down somebody because unless you're nearby and you can toss a grenade, you have no choice but to just assume that they are not dead. And if they are not dead, they have a great overview of the entire map. So Captain can sit here and give call-outs until Seaquick revives him, which is going to happen in just a few moments.
Don taking some shots. The rotation from Don Patron most likely gonna catch John out here if he's not ready for a shot spring in. These miss. Don keyed in. Rez gets picked up on the top of the roof. We're into that 3v3 right now with 1:50 left. ALG want to pile on, but Silent Purge need to keep this close.
Seaquick and Soda now making their way into the rooftop courtyard. Hoochie trying to see. Now, he's watching north. He is not expecting a push through the center like this. He's not careful.
I think he just got ID'd. I saw a laser from Soda right onto him there.
Yeah, he knows he's there, and Hoochie's poking himself out. A little bit of junk in the trunk outside of that barrier. He pops up and shoots. I'm assuming he saw somebody crossing.
Seaquick in the hole in the walls. Flossie gets picked up. The information not radioed to him. Seaquick tried to toss that nade a different direction, but ends up bouncing it off the wall. Doesn't go his way. Hoochie stays able to see. I'll look for Seaquick at the APC. Can't find anything. Soda's here as well. The rotation on the edge from Don actually results in a kill. 2 of them to make that Soda and Seaquick go down. John CZ is crashing, though. He's trying to push the front of OBJ. He's going to be a threat to Hoochie there on that front line.
He's capping. He's
check?
capping. Nope.
Wow. Wow, that was fast. What the heck? We usually give at least 5 or 10 seconds before something secure like that. And when you're under pressure, to go in like that, I mean, Sleepy, did you time that? What was that? 2 seconds? 3 seconds? That was an incredibly quick cut.
I didn't time it, but yeah, I'd say about 2-3 seconds would be a fair estimate. It was very fast, and I mean, why didn't Hoochie check that objective? You were just off objective. You know it was you and the other guy, and you were both rotating that. Why do you not get a visual confirmation on the objective and make sure it's clear? I will not understand that. That was totally Silent Purge's round to win and to even the score up. Now they've lost it. Yeah. They've lost an additional point, and they're 3-0 down on this first map. That is not a good sign. I mean, I actually thought that was an impressive little double that they managed to pull off to kill
Yeah.
Silent, or not Silent, but
Soda.
Soda
Yeah.
and Sri Lankan there on that push. And then for it to just, or not Sri Lankan's on the other side. I can't. All these Americans playing on EU teams, it's confusing. But yeah, so when they got that double frag there, and then we're rotating back to cover the objective, I'm like, oh, okay, this is it. Seaquick he's running onto the objective. He's not paying attention. He's being very cavalier. This should be an easy pick for Silent Purge to end the round and finish it to even the score back up. But no, unfortunately, Hoochie decides that he's not going to risk it. He's going to stay tucked in, and the cap comes out. And that just, you can't have that. Take the chance and die. Lose that 1 point over the 2.
You know, what it does come down to, too, is ALG continues to play good. You know, the move from John
They haven't given up yet.
The move from John to drop off there, push in, and just charge up to objective, it's a solid maneuver. You know, he's hearing the shots on his other end. He knows the distractions there. He may have to make that choice early, too. As soon as those bullets started ringing out, he was moving because he had to go down the stairs, out the back of the building, come all the way down that street. And so, you know, that was a very savvy play there from John to be there and get there in time, because ultimately they did check the angle essentially as he capped it. So yeah, some errors for sure on Silent Purge's end, but I hats off to ALG too for getting up there so quick, and for John to push in and get that cap.
I'll tell you another thing. I'm buying Hoochie some prescription lenses for his VR headset for the days, because that guy, I don't know if it's that or if it's something that he's seeing differently in his headset, but his team kills today is just borderline unacceptable at this point. I mean, I love the guy to death. Hoochie and I go, but man, it's just been crazy today.
At this level, at the top 7, we have the expectation, you know, of near perfection at least, you know, and I think a lot of these players expect that out of themselves as well. A trade between rushers and Quick on the north. Here's the push. We got to pay attention, Sleep. We can't buy time. Don's in front of OBJ. John's not going to let that happen to him. He scoops that kill up, and Hoochie's still here. The Silent Purge offense pushed right up to this objective without really any much contest. A lot of the defense is awkwardly positioned. John's honestly the only one here. This is a very interesting setup. This could be counter-capped by Silent Purge.
Yeah, and Soda is getting off his position so that he can go revive on, who is this, Seaquick. And once again, like you were saying, I mean, that's even fewer people on objective. I don't know if Captain Soda and Seaquick are going to turn that into a flank or something, but
yeah,
it's just a bit of a dangerous move. And I would expect Silent Purge is willing to take some risks here because they're so far behind.
Huge pickup. Fume down on objective Sri Lankan. If he can snag Nardu, there's nobody there.
Yeah, the only downside is it's going to be very hard to spot Nardu within the objective, although, as I say that, he's rotating out into a more visible position.
Rez comes out from Soda, Seaquick, and Captain trying to drop back to the objective. Can they get there in time? And will Silent Purge push appropriately is the question. Because if this Rez comes in, then everything worked out perfectly for ALG. Everything exactly how they would have hoped. They get their Rez, they get back to position, no contest. And now it's up to a 4v3. Yeah, they are now nicely set up for defense. Coverage back. They have both sides of objective. Soda's here. Suddenly, the egg becomes a lot harder to crack.
Yeah, a little bit of aggression would have been well placed there. And Hoochie goes down on the south street. Sri Lankan's still in the south 3-story, so he has a view onto the objective. Problem is, if he catches one, he will almost certainly be spotted by the other. And DeFlossy had a little bit of a delayed flank, but he's coming in from the north. He should see Seaquick.
He is really focused in an interesting spot. I don't know why he wouldn't be looking forward here, either way.
And Flossie just got called out by Seaquick. So they know he's there. I don't know if anybody knows if Sri Lankan's there. I haven't heard any comms yet.
How did he get spotted by? Oh, he saw him through the windows, maybe?
I think so. And Sequick's going to pick him up. And that's it. Aimless 4-0 Silent Purge. That's the end.
A chaotic back and forth, but it is going to be map number 1 into the hands of ALG in a very solid fashion. This is them really locking it in, and I think this is essentially beginners advancing, if I'm not mistaken. Unless, again, beginners lose 2 to Vikings? I don't know. Someone do the math out there.
It's all relative. I think even if
Yeah.
beginners lose 2 to Vikings, they would have to lose out pretty heavily, if I'm not mistaken, for Silent Purge to be able to counter them again. But
Right.
we'll see. You know, things happen. We've already seen what was the underdog coming in today, essentially sealing the top spot against this series of veteran teams. So we'll just have to see what unfolds in that round. But for this one, that was a clean walkaway there for Aimless Gaming. A strong defense. Silent Purge did fail to kind of capitalize on an opening that they had there while they still had a little bit of advantage on the objective side, and they paid for it ultimately, but still it was a good attempt there at the end. Sri Lankan able to get the refrag opportunity towards Flossie and you know, various other reasons, but you know, they were up against it and they really had nothing to lose by throwing it against the wall and seeing if it sticks at this point, because Aimless has proven to be a tough competitor today.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, you want to talk about a team to watch. ALG is just, this is wild. They're relatively fresh as a team, and they are getting top-notch experience. They have pushed all the way through the Challenger Cup, so they know what that feels like. They've gone through that grueling slog of games for 6 hours. They then went on to win their Challenger Cup series, doing it in 2, I believe. And now we have them going undefeated here in the closed qualifier, their round robin. They're still playing well. You know, this has been a long day. This has been 5-6+ hours of gaming in VR against teams that are very good, and they have managed to continually come out on top. They are really impressing me here today with their display, and I am very interested to see how they do when we get down to the semis and finals, when that pressure really starts to get on and the reality of the fact that you could earn some serious prizing starts to sort of tickle in the back of your head. You know, it's a lot to deal with. Theta, you would know. You're competing in it next week.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, there's even more pressure boiling up in my mind thinking about it. It's going to be a challenge. I mean, for everybody involved. What's interesting is I think a lot of players, especially at the lower brackets, fantasize about getting into this situation. But what people don't really understand, you can't internalize it till you've experienced it, is like it just gets harder. Like every round you want to just relax a little bit, but every round you actually have to get tighter and tighter with your game because mistakes become more and more significant. So anybody that's in the semis is going to be a little on edge. There's a lot on the line, and you just cannot make mistakes. So I'm personally looking forward to it. It's my first time there, but lots of pressure, no doubt.
If you are wondering where that's going to be broadcast, it'll probably be right here on VR Master League, nowhere else, and also on Venues. So if you do enjoy yourself over that Venues experience, you can tune in and watch the semis and finals next weekend. Do not miss it. You're going to want to catch that action. It's going to be the best Onward we've had. We got a map here still left in Group B today. ALG and Silent Purge duking it out on Cargo. Maybe they want to wrap this up quick. I'm not sure what the playstyle is going to be. Soda finds one out the gate as Rushers tries to swing wide into a very toxic lane. Sri Lankan charging forward, snags one with a nice shot up over the top of the crates, and down goes a couple of Silent ALG defenders. A team kill there. No, it wasn't actually a kill over the shoulder. Sri Lankan's pad out. He gets scooped up on the back end. DeFlossie's here. Sequick on a wide rotation. Silent Purge have an opportunity to cap, but DeFlossie's not taking it.
Fuck off.
Yeah. And Sequick, yeah, Flossie didn't have any way of knowing it because we have kind of the God's eye view, but nobody was on objective. A cap opportunity did exist. Sequick had flanked way out, and now Sequick has readjusted, coming down to the tunnel side to check for that flank. And Seaquick about to peek. Oh, and Hoochie just misses him. He's looking the wrong way for just the wrong moment.
I don't know what happened there. He went to grab something, and he grabbed his knife instead and threw it. And I think that drew his hand off of his rifle for just a second, delaying his reaction time there. A great, fantastic nade right where his enemy was. Seaquick has rotated.
And one thing you'll notice about all the ALG players, they do not, if they take a shot, you can pretty much expect they're not going to be there a few seconds later. They rotate a ton.
Huge swing from Seaquick here. He gets a little noisy. Uchi spots it out, picks it up. Silent Purge managed to hang on and finally put a point on the board against ALG. They go up 1-0 on Cargo.
Well, what was definitely a missed opportunity turned into a possible missed round opportunity to a clutch from Hoochie. All told, interesting sequence of events happening there for sure, for both sides, in fact. Again, yeah, like Theta said, DeFlossy not really having enough intel there to really go for that cap. There wasn't enough time for many of the callouts to come out. Some died so quickly, others just weren't able to call out anything before they were also taken down. So I mean, you work with what you have, but it did allow for John CZ there to pop around and stop that a little, or I'm sorry, for Seaquick to clutch that back a little bit for his team before ultimately succumbing there to Hoochie. But yeah, good round, and almost what I thought might happen was that Silent Purge get a cap, and it was happening. You know, Sri Lankan was there at first, but ultimately unable to succeed.
Moving on into round 2, we'll see if they can continue a bit of winning here and redeem themselves a bit in what has been a tough group stage. Soda waiting for a swing, doesn't catch it. Sri Lankan stays behind cover. Soda's going to check this doorway, finds a bit of trading there with Don. Fume's going to get the confirm, and now the push comes out. John picks up Hoochie through the doorway, down to 3 for Silent Purge, but they've got their diamond covered, so it's going to be no easy task for ALG to push in.
Rushers punishes them for rushing into the center.
Big pickup there. Oh no, the team kill as Fume swings in front of Seaquick. And the nade from John catches out Rushers to lock up the round. Surprise to them as much as it was to us. Tied things up 1 apiece. I think we're going to be going to Sleepy more often than we're going to be casting this because these are quick rounds.
Yeah, well, the problem with those quick rounds is it doesn't give you much time to really make any notes or to notice what's really happening. I mean, I was kind of fixated on the right side, you know, facing towards the offense's push, and you know, a flash was put out and then a push was made from the Silent Purge side, but they were watching another door. So they weren't ready for the offense that was there. Then the grenade trade, it came. I mean, it was just a lot to happen in that one moment. I think at this point, I think Silent Purge isn't trying to hold up time for anyone. Again, they are an EU team with some folks in a later part of their day and or night and or morning tomorrow.
Sunrise.
So, you know, they at this point, they might realize that there's not really a need to keep pushing it, but we'll see.
I realized I jinxed us into oblivion, and I was thinking I was just joking, but I said we're going to be here till sunrise, and it's the EU sunrise that we're going to be here till. So that's my fault. That's been a long day. But frankly, it's been a long day of Onward, so who are you to complain?
More East Europe, Asia sunrise, but yeah.
Either way, we're into round 3. Flashes coming out over the top. The first frag finally lands. Down goes 1 for ALG. Silent Purge. Maybe should have been playing this way the whole series. Seaquick scoops up Sri Lankan, getting a little bit in front of his team. The refrag from over the top of DeFlossy doesn't find Seaquick, and the push continues. to come out. Rushers coming in. Don gets scooped up by Soda. The refrag from DeFlossy. Fume looking for the angle down onto that other opposite end, but there's no one there, and Hoochie's lagging a little bit. DeFlossy's here in the diamond. Hoochie sitting on that backside, still hasn't pushed forward. Eventually he'll reinforce, and you got to worry about the TK.
Yeah, these cargo rounds sort of defy analysis because things happen so quickly, and now we get a chance to slow down and see exactly what their approach is going to look like. Hoochie taking his time underneath the pipes. He sees Seaquick, but did not catch him. You can hear his frustration. There goes Flossie. It's all up to Hoochie now, and Hoochie trades. Aimless Gaming up 2-1 now.
You know, we don't talk about it a lot, but this game isn't very easy. You know, it takes a good bit of skill to be good at the game. You know, when you think about a shooter, you can see with a 1-for-1, oh, this person, he's moving the mouse, he's good at aiming with the mouse. There's so many different elements that you have to factor in here. These guys are aiming a gun for all intents and purposes as if you would in real life, with both hands up. Any sort of movement in those hands, any shifting causes your gun to move, and so it really is a skill to be able to shoot accurately in this game. It takes a lot of time invested to really hone in how to be a good shot, and we've seen a couple of missed shots, you know, in today as a whole in this group stage, and they hurt. If you can't land your shots when you have the opportunity, it almost always comes back to bite you. And sure, there are some other elements that may be in play, but I've definitely seen some missed shots. Hoochie there doesn't miss his shot as he scoops up the confirm. Fume goes down, and they try, or excuse me, Fume picks up Flossie. Flossie trying to peek the doorway. Don looks for that refrag, can't find it, and we're very quickly into a 4v4.
Yeah, just past the 20-second mark, and death is already in the air.
Don seeing his toes tip, and he actually tickles him. Down goes Don from a laughter fit, and now Nardu's looking for the refrag. Actually, Don picks up that kill. Excuse me, I keep misreading the kill feed. Nardu's going to go to the same spot, and that's a risk. Nade comes out. No, just the flash. Don getting scooped up on the backside. I did not see the duo of Soda and Seaquick getting aggressive here.
And this is a more traditional ALG offense, stacked on one side. Although they're about to run into a stacked defense as well. Rushers watching down that pipe alley. Sri Lankan shifts over to support Hoochie on the opposite side. And now down to a 2v1. Man, I'm just trying to keep up with everything that's happening. But I just got to keep zipping from one spot to the next. I don't catch everything.
A fast bit of movement there from ALG to top off that round. They are definitely trying to run away with this one. We're probably just going to stay on this scene here, not go to the scoreboard, because we're going to be diving right into this next round pretty shortly. To your point earlier, Sleepy, yeah, these teams very clearly have loosened up. You know, they recognize the situation they're in. This is more akin, I would say, to maybe a competitive public lobby, something that you know, if you were to be joining against these guys on any sort of day in the week, this is how maybe they'd be playing, a little less locked in and still good and still skilled. Well, but
yeah, you pretty much read my mind. I was gonna say some of the Purge kind of looking more like a comp lobby, like a scrim play. With the exception of they are still trying to make the plays. Like you see them actively still trying. It's not like they're just rushing out into oblivion and running right into gunfire. They are actively trying to still get these round wins, but they aren't taking their time between rounds like we saw previously. And maybe that's because you know, all day Silent Purge has not been waiting on, you know, we've not been waiting on Silent Purge between round. We've been waiting on their opponents, but right now it's looking like they don't care too much for the planning stage. They're just going to go in and do their thing and just try, you know, just try to get the angles and get the rounds. So we'll see if that pans out for them at the end of this, but Aimless looking to secure this final map in the series with this last defensive round, and Nardu going to start off well with the first pick.
Solid little bit of killing there. Sleepy mixing himself into the Hold regular cast in the last round, potentially. He's got to get his...
Oh, what a grenade
action.
from Seaquick.
That was excellent. A really savory bounce catches out Deflossi, and Seaquick looks like he's going to continue to push forward. Fume finds Sri Lankan. Hoochie's the last one alive. He's got to get this res before he gets completely surrounded as he swings out. Flossie doesn't find Seaquick, and Seaquick with the silencer scoops up a double. ALG locking down map number 2, and ultimately the series. A solid performance from them to get them to where they are, and that is an undefeated performance from them in Group B. I would never have predicted that.
Yeah, can't argue against that. That was an excellent performance from them all the way around, and they are now the team to watch in the semifinals, no doubt about it.
I mean, what a story. Yeah, it is exciting. They have really done a good job, seemingly, or really earning their spot here, and going up seemingly against the best teams. But they're the better play. I can't believe it. I'm almost speechless that ALG has gone 6-0 here in this group stage, because I would, like I said, Silent Purge are a good team. Beginners are good teams. They are powerful EU teams. And for them to go down like this to ALG, it's more of a hats off to ALG playing well than anything, I think.
No doubt about it. Yeah, and
Yeah, I mean, you can't argue that ALG played well today.
Yeah. Any final thoughts on the day, Sleepy? It seems like ALG's locked in. I don't know still who our second is, although actually we do. It's Beginners. With this double loss from Silent Purge, pretty sure that's locked in. And so we're going to see these two moving on to the semis next weekend. I cannot wait. The semis are going to be fantastic. You have to tune into them next weekend.
Yeah, it's still, I was thinking about this as we were on a break between rounds, and it's an odd postseason with Globochem not in the mix, isn't it?
There's some spots to. There's an open sort of position there, if you will. It's and I think a lot of teams have tried to answer to the call. If anything, it's inspired. It's inspired more teams to go. Oh, well, hey, maybe the
Now's
New
our
York.
chance.
Yeah, the New York. Historically, I like to compare them to the Yankees of old. And the Yankees would take World Series constantly. They almost had people rooting against them. I feel like Globo was getting to that point in some extent, but yeah, it's been fun. I think for that reason, because we've really seen teams that maybe we wouldn't have thought would step up to that challenge. ALG being one of them.
Yep, and I'll just say, I have a lot to think about because my team is going to be facing ALG. That's going to be our match next weekend, and they're our road to the finals. We have to beat them, so I'm looking forward to it. I know everybody in this bracket feels the same way. Like, the most challenging games are the ones you want to play. That's where you really get tested. Win or lose, just having the opportunity to play a good team is something that is always on my mind.
Absolutely. We've had a long day here. And so I think we are going to try and wrap things up. There's no post show or anything like that, but I do want to give a shout out to everybody that has tuned in today. If you're still here, hit that follow button on the VR Master League Twitch channel. If you're in venues, thank you so much for tuning in. Come back next weekend. It's going to be even better. There's going to be way less breaks. It's going to be more back-to-back games. You're going to want to tune in. Semis and finals next weekend are a blast, especially with what we've seen today. I don't know what to expect. But a shout out to our sponsors: Pro2 VR, VR Cover, B Haptics, HyperX, Rebuff Reality, Cyber Shoes, Arma, VRware, Asterion, and Fixed Gaming. We did the ad roll for them when we were buying time. You know what their products are. They are fantastic, and we appreciate them to offer all of this prizing to our champions. It really helps, give a little extra oomph for what these teams are competing for. Lastly, a shout out to my co-casters, Sleepy and Theta. Thank you so much for joining me today. It has been a long day of Onward, but an exciting one, and I am very much looking forward to next weekend. With that, we are going to be signing off. We will see you all next weekend. Do not miss it. Tune in for the pre-show. It's going to be awesome. We're going to break down everything. We're going to have highlights. You're going to want to see it. We're going to be all on camera. It's going to be a great time. Be sure to be there. Don't miss it. That's it for us. We'll see you all next weekend.